Ukraine's defense minister denies involvement in sabotage of Nord Stream gas pipelines following explosive report. Russian Wagner Group claims control of Bakhmut, eastern Ukraine. Will they take over more cities? Russian defense minister caught on video in Ukraine, linked to Wagner Group visit. Ukraine claims major victory. Russian army suffers devastating losses and destruction of equipment in latest battle. Who wants to frame Ukraine with the undermining of the Nord Stream? Which city after Bakhmut will be captured by Russia? What is the purpose of the visit Russian defense minister to Ukraine? Let's answer on these questions in this video. Ukraine's defense minister Oleksiy Reznikov stated in Stockholm on March 8 that the Ukrainian government was not involved in the sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea last year. He made the statement prior to a meeting with EU defense ministers, responding to a report by the New York Times that suggested that a pro-Ukrainian group had been responsible for the sabotage, based on new intelligence seen by US officials. Reznikov firmly denied any involvement by Ukraine in the incident. The Nord Stream gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea, which are owned by Russia, suffered damage on September 26, 2022. This occurred just weeks after Gazprom, the pipeline's owner, suspended gas supplies through the lines indefinitely following the announcement that G7 leaders had agreed to impose price caps on Russian oil. Numerous unproven theories have emerged about who is responsible for the damage to the Russian pipelines. Some suggest that Russia may have damaged the pipelines themselves as an excuse not to resume gas supplies to the EU. In February, journalist Seymour Hersh, who previously asserted that the Russian government had no involvement in the poisoning of Skripal in the UK, alleged, based on an anonymous source, that US divers planted explosives during NATO exercises in the Baltic Sea in June, and the Norwegian Navy detonated them 3 months later. The New York Times report is the latest addition to the various unverified versions circulating regarding the party responsible for the damage to the pipelines. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of Russia's Wagner military group, declared on Wednesday that his organization has seized full control of the eastern sector of the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. If his assertions are verified, Russian troops would dominate nearly half of the metropolis. Mr. Prigozhin stated on the Telegram messaging network, units from the Wagner private military firm have captured the eastern side of Bakhmut, adding, Wagner controls everything east of the Bakhmutka River. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized that his army was committed to defending Bakhmut and cautioned that if the Russian army took over the city, it would have an unimpeded path into eastern Ukraine. The conflict for Bakhmut, a town with a population of 80,000 inhabitants that is renowned for its salt mines, has been a brutal and extended battle that has lasted for months. President Zelensky reiterated his military's determination to fight for the city. President Zelensky confirmed that he recently met with the Chief of Staff and military commanders, both online and offline, who expressed the need to remain strong in Bakhmut. He acknowledged the need to prioritize the safety of Ukrainian soldiers while doing everything possible to prepare for a counteroffensive, including obtaining weapons and supplies. President Zelensky is aware that losing Bakhmut would allow Russian forces to move further into Ukraine, potentially capturing other cities such as Kramatorsk and Sloviansk in the Donetsk direction. Mr. Prigozhin, on the other hand, has claimed that his forces have practically surrounded Bakhmut, although he has made premature territorial gains assertions before. Mr. Prigozhin, the head of the private military company Wagner, has previously accused Russia's defense ministry of depriving his men of the necessary ammunition. In a separate video uploaded on his Telegram channel, he called on President Zelensky to evacuate the elderly and children from the battered city. The battle for Bakhmut has been ongoing for months, with both sides suffering significant losses, but neither has disclosed specific figures. According to Mr. Prigozhin, approximately 12,000 to 20,000 Ukrainian soldiers are defending the city, and while they are engaged in tough battles day and night, they are not retreating. If Russian forces capture Bakhmut, it will be their first significant territorial gain since the previous summer, providing them with the ability to launch further offensive operations into Ukraine's defense lines. According to European Pravda and UK Defense Intelligence on Twitter, it has been reported that the recent release of video footage of the Russian defense minister's visit to Ukraine on March 4, 2023 was in response to Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of Wagner Group PMC, visiting his fighters on the front line. UK Defense Intelligence suggests that the release of the video may have been a response to Prigozhin's recent visit, as Wagner is currently in a dispute with the Russian Ministry of Defense, and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu may be sensitive to being compared to Prigozhin. The video only shows Colonel General Rustam Muradov, the field commander responsible for the Volodar sector of Donetsk Oblast, where several assaults have failed in the last 3 months. UK Defense Intelligence notes that the Russian command likely saw a breakthrough at Volodar as a critical way to achieve an operationally significant breakthrough in Ukraine's lines until recently. The report suggests that Russian planners are facing a dilemma of attempting another assault at Volodar or supporting intense fighting further north near Bakhmut and Kreminna. Invaders lose about 700 soldiers, 4 tanks, 7 artillery systems, 3 drones over day. According to a post on Facebook by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the Russian occupying army has lost around 700 personnel in the last day and a total of approximately 155,530 since the beginning of their full-scale invasion on February 24th as of Wednesday morning, March 8th. In the past 24 hours, Russia has also lost 4 tanks and 9 armored fighting vehicles in Ukraine, while the total losses since the beginning of the invasion are approximately 3,436 and 6,723 units, respectively. During the day, 7 artillery systems of the invaders and 7 vehicles, including tanks with fuel and lubricants, were destroyed in Ukraine. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, approximately 2,463 and 5,330 of these units, respectively, have been destroyed. On Tuesday, 3 unmanned aerial vehicles of the operational tactical level of the enemy were shot down, and since February 24th, approximately 2,098 UAVs have been destroyed. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, Russia has lost approximately 488 multiple rocket launchers, 253 air defense systems, 236 units of special equipment, and 18 ships in Ukraine. Additionally, 303 aircraft and 289 helicopters were destroyed, and approximately 873 cruise missiles were shot down,